Shannon Martin, tonight it's do or die for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I don't sense any nerves. I just sense confidence and excitement.
And some optimism and anxiety among fans as the Leafs take their shot looking to advance in the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. Plus,
it's a matter of life and death for a lot of us.
On the campaign trail, after critics demand better, the Ontario NDP promises to boost disability support programs. And
nice to connect in real life, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and it's my first time at the Junos, so.
It is Juno weekend, fans getting up close and personal with their favorite Canadian artists.
This is CBC Saturday News.
Thanks for joining us, Leafs fans. How you doing? In about an hour's time, puck drops on Game 7. The Leafs, of course, you know this, once again find themselves in a do-or-die situation. They've got to beat Tampa Bay to advance in the NHL playoffs. Let's bring in our Greg Ross. He's standing by live for us at Scotiabank Arena. Just in the total thick of it. You've been there all day. How are fans doing?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of excitement here, Shannon, as you would expect. It is Game 7. That's a huge deal. There's no doubt about it. There is a lot on the line, though, in this game. The Leafs win. They go to the second round of the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. They lose, and they're done in the first round again. And that is not what these fans want here tonight. I'll tell you what, you were saying you are nervous tonight.
Nervous. I'm very nervous.
Why are you so nervous?
Because I'm a realistic Leaf fan, and sometimes it doesn't go in our way, but go Leafs, go!
That's an honest Leaf fan right there, because let's face it, you cannot forget about the history of this team. Last year they were up 3-1 on the Montreal Canadiens. They lost. They lost twice in the first round against the Bruins, and they didn't even make it to the first round back in 2020 against Columbus when they played in a qualifying round. So this is a team that has underproduced when it comes to the playoffs, Shannon, and as you can see, these fans right here are ready for a celebration, and I can only imagine that if the Leafs can pull it off tonight, that there will be a big celebration in downtown Toronto tonight with 20,000 fans spilling out of Scotiabank Arena and thousands more already out here in Maple Leaf Square.
Oh my gosh, the pressure, the pressure. Tell us, how are the players? How is the team? How is the coach feeling?
I'll tell you what, I would have butterflies if I were in their position right now, regardless of what team you're on. But there's no doubt about it. Those players are carrying the hopes of these fans on their shoulders tonight in this game. But remarkably, head coach Sheldon Keefe says he's feeling calm, cool, and collected.
The mood's great. I mean, I don't sense any nerves. I just sense confidence and excitement.
How about your own nerves?
Don't have any. This is as confident as I've been coaching this team.
So look, Sheldon Keefe is confident. These fans not as confident, but still very hopeful, and they're ready to celebrate. There's no doubt about that. We'll see if the Leafs can make these fans happy tonight with a victory in Game 7 here over Tampa. It would be the first time since 2004, Shannon, if the Leafs can do it, that they advance to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like that's longer than some of those fans have been alive. Thank you so much, Greg, joining us live from Scotiabank Arena. Have a fun night. Oh my gosh, go Leafs go. Okay, from sports fans to music fans, it's also opening night at the Juno Awards. More than 40 Junos will be handed out tonight. Earlier today, fans got to meet some of their favorite artists at the Fanfare live event, and our Jackson Weaver was there right in the middle of all the excitement.
Now, we are here at Juno's Fanfare event, where right behind me you can see a crowd of music fans here to see some of the biggest names in Canadian music who are all headed to the Juno Awards tomorrow night. Now, some of those musicians include J.P. Sachs, the Toronto-born musician who won Breakthrough Artist of the Year last year at the Junos, was also nominated at the Grammys. He was here just a few moments ago performing one of his new songs. Another musician here is rapper Toby, who we caught up with ahead of his meet and greet, and he told us about what an impact it is to be able to meet with fans in person once again.
I definitely gotta learn how to be social again in person, but it is what it is. It's just nice. It's nice to connect in real life, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and it's my first time at the Junos, so one time for Brampton.
Now, of course, this is not the only thing that the Junos have planned tomorrow night when the awards do take place at Budweiser Stage. There'll be a raft of other performances there, including a performance by Canadian music legend Avril Lavigne. Now, she'll be performing from some of her old songs and from her new album, Love Socks, which is a return to pop punk, she told CBC earlier this week. We'll be on the red carpet to catch up with her then and some other stars to see what's on their minds and what it's like to be at a Junos in person once again. Shannon?
A 13-year-old from Toronto is already making Juno history. He is the youngest person ever nominated for Best Reggae Recording. He says getting nominated already feels like a win. Here's more from Cairo McLean.
Oh, you, yeah. Silly den den, di den, engabo, engo ben.
13-year-old, that makes you the youngest nominee for
in the reggae category, yes.
How does that feel?
It feels great. Just like reinforces the idea that you can do anything if you put your mind to it, you know?
Have you let your mind go there if you hear them call your name?
Well, sometimes, like, I don't know, I can't help it. Sometimes I have to fantasize about me going up there and hoisting the trophy into the air.
Sophia joins us now for our first look at the forecast. So that award's being handed out at 6:34. I can't wait to see what happens. We're all cheering Cairo on.
Fingers crossed for that. Toes crossed for the Leafs. We're both wearing blue. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
We gotta
Shannon.
do it. We gotta do it.
Yeah,
it's a big one.
and a typical celebration weather out there. It feels like summer for the boys of winter. A typical Canadian spring lasted about 2 days before we went from winter like cold to summer like heat and humidity. Ottawa hit 31 today, another day of record-breaking temperatures. We're still at 26 in Toronto. That is almost 10 degrees more than our seasonal average. Humidity-wise, felt like 35 in Eastern Ontario, felt like 30 for the afternoon peak of the humidity here in the GTA today. And you know you have the heat, you know that you have the humidity. Along with that comes the risk of thunderstorms. We are seeing pop-up storms right now, places like Sarnia, Windsor, even on the Georgian and the Huron shores as well. The humidity will continue to peak Sunday afternoon, feeling like 31. Along with a weak lake breeze, will feel really cool by Etobicoke, Mimico lakeshore areas, almost a 10-degree difference. Lake breeze and a little bit of instability. You'll still have the risk for more storms. Widely scattered both Sunday and Monday. Morning rain on Monday before temperatures fall off the wayside. And if you are waiting for a post-game celebration at the big game tonight, it'll feel like 16 with some light clouds. I'll tell you about the long-range heat story when we return, Shannon.
Yes, and hopefully it's a party tonight. We'll see. Thanks so much, Sophia.
Knock on wood.
Well, to the campaign trail now, where Ontario's NDP announced a major policy change when it comes to disability support. As Lorenda Redekop shows us, that change comes after critics said the party could do more.
Hundreds of NDP faithful turned out in Brampton to hear their leader announce a switch in their party's platform.
For decades, folks receiving ODSP and OW have been neglected and disrespected.
Promising more help for people on disability supports.
We'll change that and permanently lift every ODSP and OW recipient out of poverty.
The party would still add a planned 20% increase, but then for year 2, boost that and double the current disability support. Critics had said the original policy wasn't enough. Some normally NDP voters. Rates have been frozen since 2018. The maximum, just under $1,200 a month for a single person.
It's a matter of life and death for a lot of us.
This is the second Ontario party to make a switch to its policy. The Progressive Conservatives say they'll increase rates by 5% after not mentioning the program at all in their recent budget. The Liberals promise 20% over 2 years. The Green Party promises to double the rate. One economist compared all the parties' plans against the poverty line, helping to give the issue traction.
I'd committed to voting Green because they were the only party who had made such a commitment to raise ODSP above the poverty line. Now there's 2 parties for me to choose from, and I'm hopeful that the Liberals and Conservatives will make similar announcements. I think the ball is now in their court.
Federal leader Jagmeet Singh was here to try to build support in this campaign. When he did that earlier this week, he He was met by protesters hurling insults. There are a few protesters out here. Mostly they've been yelling and swearing. But unlike Jagmeet Singh's last visit to Ontario for this campaign, they likely won't get so close to him because the event is in this convention centre. On the NDP mid-campaign switch, some at this rally say it's still not enough. And the doubling has to happen immediately. Lorenda Radikop, CBC News, Brampton.
Meantime, Liberal leader Stephen Del Duca was in Milton today talking about his Buck-a-Ride transit proposal.
Hey, how are you? Great to see you too. I love Milton. You know I love Milton.
Del Duca first made the announcement earlier this month, which would slash transit fares to $1 per ride on transit lines in Ontario. The Liberal leader also sitting down with local small business owners to discuss issues facing voters. He then went to Milton's GO station with Liberal candidate Samira Ali. The Liberals are looking to take the riding from incumbent Parm Gill with the PCs. A first-of-its-kind clinic at the Jamaican Canadian Association encouraged workers to learn more about their rights. As Talia Ricci shows us, it was the stories of how workers were treated during the pandemic that inspired today's event.
During the pandemic, we were the essential workers.
And organizations that came together today want to make sure the people who do those essential jobs also know about their rights.
Black workers have been disproportionately affected throughout the pandemic, working in precarious working environment where a lot of them were designated as essential, working without the protective gear that they need. Many of them end up being sick, or some of them even died. We want to make sure that that never happens again.
The Workers' Rights Information Clinic for Black workers in the GTA provided visitors with information about unionizing, health and safety, and fighting racism in the workplace.
We see a lot of issues right now with workers in the service sector, in healthcare.
The disparities that were highlighted during the pandemic were often brought up at vaccine clinics hosted here at the Jamaican Canadian Association. It was part of what sparked the idea for a clinic like this.
We heard loud and clear, particularly from frontline workers, the challenges they were facing, experiencing racism and systemic discrimination.
The goal was also to provide a safe space to have these conversations, which organizers say is especially important leading up to the provincial election.
To talk about what's at stake in this election, to talk about what workers are fighting for, $20 minimum wage, 10 permanent paid sick days, equal pay for equal work, and many other things. This is a really crucial time.
For people who have several jobs, and oftentimes they don't go to vote because they think that they are not able to do so. This is an opportunity for them to have some of those resources and to understand fully that it doesn't matter, you're still able to get time off to do so.
The hope is that people learn what resources are available and that the conversation around the future of work also includes this.
A workplace that's safe for everyone, a workplace where Black workers feel like they can speak up, feel like they're included.
Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back. We have some developing news south of the border. At least 10 people are dead and 3 people are wounded after a shooting at a grocery store in Buffalo. The mayor of Buffalo has just given a press briefing. The suspect is in custody at this hour. Witnesses describe seeing a man enter the store armed with a rifle and opening fire. Early reports suggested he could be in his teens or early 20s. Authorities say it is being investigated now as a hate crime. Well, meantime, thousands of pro-choice demonstrators joining together across the U.S. Rallies were organized by abortion rights groups in response to the leaked U.S. Supreme Court draft opinion suggesting Roe v. Wade be overturned. In New York City, people walking across the Brooklyn Bridge carrying signs and drumming. Overturning Roe v. Wade would leave it up to states to decide abortion laws, which could leave many without access to the procedure. Those sentiments echoed at a rally in Toronto, a group gathering to advocate for abortion access in the U.S.
Americans in Canada obviously have the advantage of being able to access healthcare in Canada. However, of course, we're well connected to the United States, and we feel a strong obligation to the people there to protect what we see as a human right.
The rally was organized by the group Democrats Abroad Toronto. Dozens got together outside the U.S. consulate on University Avenue in a show of support. The lawyer of a Toronto woman who was pushed onto the subway tracks last month says his client is suing the TTC for $1 million in damages. She'd also like to see the transit service make changes to prevent similar incidents from happening in the future.
We're saying, look, the TTC knows that this is a problem. They know that things are going to happen, and they have an obligation to create a safer environment.
Shamsa Al-Balushi was pushed to the tracks on April 17th at the Bloor-Yonge station. She narrowly avoided being hit by a train. The lawsuit alleges TTC is liable because it failed to implement sufficient safety protocols, didn't have adequate surveillance of the platform, and failed to respond promptly to the incident. Now, transit officials say they can't comment because it is an ongoing legal matter. We have a live look for you from Ottawa tonight. Today, they got up to 31 degrees, marking the 4th straight day of record-breaking heat. What will the next few days bring? Sophia is back with your forecast for the rest of the weekend. Stay with us. An Asian night market called Super Fresh is opening its doors in the Annex today. Earlier this week, we spent some time with the founders, Trevor and James. They're calling it an immersive and authentically delicious Asian night market experience right in the heart of Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, listen, both being children of immigrant parents from Asia, we grew up a certain way, but never really felt the inclination or the comfort of sharing a lot of things that we love. This space is really all about bringing it all together, a safe space for the community, and sharing things that we love about our culture. And by that, also things that other people love about the culture.
And I think what we came together and we said was, we want to make something that's unapologetically Asian, right? It's something that we can all feel proud of. We're not quite done, a few little elements to add, but I think we're proud of what's happened.
We enlisted Asian women in the community, and that was really important for us. It was very deliberate.
Being able to be at Super Fresh in this, very high traffic area is exciting because when Trevor presented it to me, it just felt like it was a very targeted community for my business, but it was just a way for us to engage with our community in a different way. I think it's just really exciting to be able to find a community of other women who feel this way, where we want to make a change and make our mark in the city or in the world, whatever it may be.
We want this to be a space where everyone can come and learn about all the other things they don't know about Asian culture, including the fact that Asian just doesn't mean Korean, Japanese, or Chinese, and that there's 41 countries in Asia, including the foods and the cultures and the people behind it.
The doors are open to everybody. We want everyone to experience this. Again, with everything that's going on in the world now, with COVID, Asian hate on the rise, we just wanted to showcase, again, what Trevor said earlier, the beauties of our different cultures, and have the proper representation within this space.
Well, here's a question for you. Which tree best symbolizes the city of Toronto? 11,000 residents recently cast ballots, and the winner is the oak tree.
Thought it was important to add this to our list of symbols, and given that the tree canopy is so important to our city, we thought this was a great way to incorporate it.
Mayor John Tory making it official on this sunny Saturday at Cedar Ridge Park. The oak tree will become a part of the city's official symbols, including the city flag and coat of arms. Yeah, it really was a beautiful day to get outside, especially along the boardwalk at Ashbridges Bay Park for the 10th annual Buddy Walk.
We have a couple of hundred people in Toronto with Down syndrome, and the biggest part of what DSAT offers is awareness for the individuals, the self-advocates, giving them a platform to speak, connecting them with the greater public, offering resources, and offering families in the Down syndrome community with a sense of connection so that they don't feel lost.
Hundreds got together for the 3-kilometer walk, raising awareness and funds for the Down Syndrome Association of Toronto. gorgeous day for that, to be outside and just soak it up.
Yeah, the visuals look like the peak of summer, like the
Yes.
dog days of summer with that bright
Yes.
blue sky, the summer heat. It certainly felt like that in Ottawa, well, all over Southern Ontario. Even Timmins hit 32 today, which is amazing. The thunderstorms there right now as well. 4-day streak of daily records broken and smashed in Ottawa. I don't think they'll see it for tomorrow. They're only going to get to maybe about 26, 27, but it'll certainly feel warmer. Places like Saguenay in Quebec hit 34 in the last 24 hours. Quebec's never seen a 34-degree temperature ever. Humidex will be quite balmy as well for Sunday. We'll feel 31 in Toronto, feel 31 in Ottawa. It comes with the risk of storms. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We're seeing some right now, some more popping up around the Bruce Peninsula, even into cottage country as we speak. Popcorn storms, lots of lightning associated with these as well, which is not good. It's been quite dry as well. Sunday evening, if you're headed out to the Junos, 19 light chance of showers, mostly a cloudy evening. Try to get a sight of the blood flower moon if you can around midnight before the clouds and more storms roll in. It's Canada's longest total lunar eclipse since 2007. You will have some storms Sunday overnight into Monday, more of a widespread rain story for Monday morning, the soaking that we all need. It will also bring an end to this smashing summer-like heat and humidity for just a couple days. We actually go down to a few degrees below seasonal after these storms, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, before I see you again next weekend, and we're right back up to the high 20s, feeling like the low 30s again for summer 3.0, Shannon.
I love it. As long as it's clear tomorrow night for the Junos, fingers crossed.
For that as well.
Thanks, Sophia. Well, before we go, we had to dig back in the archives for this one. Pickering's Shawn Mendes is receiving a big honor at the Junos tomorrow night, recognizing his global impact on music. It wasn't too long ago that he was featured right here on CBC Toronto.
I think that's insane, and I always tell them, some girls are like, we finished since 3 a.m. I'm like, don't do that for me, I'm not that cool. Like, don't wait that long, like, just come at the time, because I'm not that cool, you don't have to wait for me, but it's like, it's really crazy, and it's so heartwarming to think like they're that excited, and it makes me more excited, and it makes me push myself.
That's from 2015. Our cameras were there as Mendes was playing a fundraiser for the leadership camp at his Pickering school. You know how the story goes from there. The now 23-year-old is an 11-time Juno Award winner. Tomorrow night, he'll pick up at least one more for the Juno International Achievement Award. And that is our show. So well-deserved. Congratulations to all the nominees. Of course, we'll be watching the Junos, the big show tomorrow. We leave you now with more music from Shawn Mendes because we're big fans. This one's called When You Are Gone.